Welcome back to This Wasn't in the MLS. I'm Megan, and we have a special visitor today. Tell us who you are and what do you do?
My name is Kerri Kappler, sometimes Kerri Kappler. You choose, it doesn't matter.
Kerri to Megan.
Kerri to Megan. Kerri to most, because people get confused when I say my name is Kerri. It's the bane of my existence. But I work at Summit Mortgage. I'm the branch manager of our local offices. It's just a glorified term for I write mortgages for a living.
Yep. And she's the best at it.
Thank you.
How did you get into mortgages and what made you stick with it?
I fell into it. My dad ran a mortgage company my whole life. He ran the East Coast of Summit Mortgage up until August when he retired. He was one of the regional managers. After I graduated college, I knew I needed to pay student loans, didn't know what aspect of my degree I wanted to focus on. Took a little bit of a break, went to work for him for a little bit just to pay the bills, and kind of fell in love with it because it's problem solving all day and dealing with people and getting to know them. Kind of liked it. I just enjoyed it and I stayed and liked the people that I work with for the most part.
I actually didn't know that about you.
Really?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know what you did before you went into mortgage.
I was a student forever.
You were always just a mortgage person to me, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I fell into it at 22, which, that was an adjustment for everybody because, in our industry, it's gotten younger now, but this was over 15 years ago. Everyone was 50, 40, 50. And then there was me, the 22-year-old that looked like she was 12. Still does. And they're like, who's this girl? What's she doing? Can she even sign a contract? And,
right.
That's
hard. Yeah. You have a very young face, and we talk about this all the time, that, and you've said to me that people think you sound like you're 12 on the phone.
I have agents who will give my number to clients and say, just don't listen to how her voice sounds. She's actually smart. She sounds like a child, but she isn't. Like, it's mildly offensive, but thanks for setting that tone that I'm at least intelligent and know how to do my job.
I've had a lot of clients actually say, you're very, very smart, that we've sent to you, and they call us back and they're like, she's so great. And sometimes you can't approve their mortgages because of certain aspects like credit and things like that. But they'll come back and be like, we really wanted to work with Kerri.
Oh, that's so nice. I try. I like to figure out problems. I am such a control freak in that manner where if there's something wrong, I need to know everything about it to make sure there's 10 different answers. So I'll always do the extra work with the client, their credit, how they can improve their credit, even if it's fine, just so they have that knowledge.
Yeah, you're super good with that, which is why I send people to you, because even if they're not approvable at the moment, you're like, sometimes it's something so small, hey, you just have to pay this credit card down by $1,000 and
you'll be ready to go in a month.
Yeah. So I love that. Because if they can buy this house now and only have to have a letter that says they paid off their credit card or whatever the thing is, it might be possible,
It's never a no. Well, sometimes it's a no. Sometimes it's a no.
300 credit score.
I've never paid a bill on time in my life. I'm actively in foreclosure, and I have $0 and I want a payment of $400.
6 bankruptcies.
Yeah, then you're definitely a no. But it's a,
not now,
maybe if you try to do this,
right.
Or sometimes it's just buying isn't for everybody. Mm. Maybe we can find you a really good rental.
Right.
And then get yourself into a position where maybe eventually you can buy a house.
Right.
But, buying isn't for everybody too, so.
Yeah. So, do you think that your job is more stressful or my job?
I'm going to say it depends on the day and the client.
That's a great
because
answer.
we have all kinds of kinds. My job is stressful because it's about finances, and that makes people nervous.
Right.
They never want to divulge things. They feel like they're being judged, and it's hard to counteract their feelings on things when it's just numbers. Like, I don't care if you're 620 credit score or an 820 credit score. It doesn't matter. If you're getting through your own life and your situations and you're able to buy, I'm going to help you.
Right.
That's the point. But there's the judgment that people feel that's really hard for me to navigate sometimes.
I could get that, though, you know, and like we've had, without saying too much information, we've had a client, a mutual client, that was very dishonest throughout the entire process. And obviously, like, he was too, maybe if he, you know, from the get-go told us what the issue was, can I say the issue or no?
It was lying about credit status at the end of the day. Everything was a lie, and it was a, do you know who I am? Do you know how much money I have? That kind of thing, where like, if you have that, it's an ego thing.
It's an ego thing, but it's also like, he's embarrassed. At the end of the day, he's embarrassed that he did that, went to turn around and fixed it too late, and we essentially couldn't close the day before. Like, we found out the day before closing.
And that was just I'm not going to divulge any of this information. Right. I'm going to tell you one thing, and I have no reason to not believe you, but every time I give you paperwork, it's going to say something different.
Right.
And it was just it grinds my gears when people tell me that they don't get statements. I don't get bank statements. I don't get mortgage statements. I don't get pay stubs. Like, that's not true. Legally, you have to get them. I have a banking license. If you have a bank account, they legally have to give you a bank statement.
And it's so easy to find them, too.
Oh, my goodness. Call the bank and go the app, go onto the website. The website's always better than going on the app. I will say that. Call the bank.
Yeah, they have to give it to you.
They legally have to give it to you.
But I think that, you know, we both, in our jobs in different ways, have to be bearer of bad news. Mm-hmm. So whether it's, you know, on the mortgage side, or that you need your roof replaced and you have to do it, your house isn't selling, like, those are two different, but two in the same, too. You know, it's like, both
hard
things
conversations
are gonna, like, piss them off.
Yeah, it's just managing emotions all the time.
Yeah.
And yours is more to do with their home that they're trying to sell or that they're trying to buy, and the reality of a situation. But it's, my house is beautiful, everything's great, I've done this, and it's okay. But if your roof has 1 year of expected life, who's going to want to buy that and then have to replace a roof and explain that to a client?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a big expense for a new buyer to take. On my end, it's, well, I get that you want to buy this house that's $17,000 over your budget, but if you don't have the money to come up with a difference, then you can't buy it. If you can't feasibly afford to make that payment, then I can't approve you for it.
Right. Yeah, I've learned, you know, when I first started real estate, those hard conversations were way harder. Now I'm just like, all right, well, I'm like speaking facts. Like, it's not like I did this. And like, I just saw a Facebook post. I forget, I think it was one of my referral partners. I try to say people's names because I like talk about people all the time. John Ryan, one of my Remax referral partners. He's out of I will get back to that. I don't know why I can't think. Arkansas,
okay.
And he wrote a Facebook post and said that real estate agents, and like the same thing with lenders, we carry the stress of our clients.
Oh my God, so true.
And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that is the best way to put something into words, because we do.
I am stressed out like 75% of my day. I go to sleep dreaming about my job to the point that I can't sometimes remember if I actually worked on something in the day or in my dream.
Right.
So I have to like mentally go over everything. I mean, it gives me great clarity sometimes on the problems I have to fix.
I think what really resonated with me on that is, well, yes, like a client, and I'm not invalidating their feelings or anything, like if their roof needs to be replaced, like they have that stress, right, of like, ugh, I got to pay to have my roof replaced. We carry more stress than that because we're like, okay, my client expects me to get this to the closing table as well as needing a roof replacement. So like that's what stresses us out is like we have a job, just as you do as a mortgage person, like you have a job to get this to the closing table. So like you're feeling the weight of your buyer's client as well as like we have, okay. And then even like you guys are watching inspections go through too. And it's like, okay, like, you know, even as just a mortgage person, you're like, oh, I hope the buyer can get through inspections and like we could push on kind of thing. So
I think it's because we care too. Like I care about doing my job well, and I care about the people that are then going to be in these houses. I don't want to see them have a ton of problems right away, especially for like a first-time home buyer who's spending, you know, a good chunk of their savings, and now they have $2 left, and then oh no, my pipe burst, I have a broken, my roof is bad, something. I just
we just did this with one of our clients that you actually referred to me. But you know, all this stuff came up on the inspection report. And like I called you, right? And I was like, hey, I'm like, I think like wants to terminate this. I was like, I'm not gonna like try and tell her not to, because one, she's a first time home buyer, and like she's gonna just run into so many issues.
I would have told her no.
Yeah.
To be fair, I actually saw her sister-in-law last night, and we were talking about her. I keep looking to find other houses for her because that one didn't work out. But her brother is a contractor, and he was like, I'm going to let her come to her own conclusion about this inspection, but I would tell her to pass. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. But like sometimes like it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, you know, for a first-time homebuyer especially, like I'm not going to be the one to put my name on that list, like on that closing, if the buyer is later going to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to put into the house. Like that's just awful.
Yeah, and I think that comes with experience too, and reading reports and seeing houses and knowing kind of what's a real big red flag on an inspection and what isn't, but then also caring about our clients.
Right.
What a concept.
Exactly. So equally, moral of that question, definitely equally stressful, and I'm happy you answered it that way.
It is equally stressful. It really is.
Well, I thought you were going to be like, mine. And I'd be like, bitch.
No. I've watched you list houses before and deal with all of the personalities. We won't name all of their names.
Do we know one? Oh.
Is it me? I was a nightmare. I was actually pretty chill for listing. I got drunk during the listing video. We're not going to edit that out.
We both did. That was so funny.
That was
just
terrible.
so everybody knows, Kerri and I were both drunk during her listing video and still managed.
It was unintentional.
It came out so good.
It was just I'm a big wine lover, and I have so much wine in my house. We're like, we'll toast, it'll be fun. And then neither of us had eaten all day. So, well, one thing led to another.
Yeah, that was
it was a great time.
Poor Josh.
Poor Josh.
Josh was like, can you guys like move into another room so I can video in here? We're like, do you want some wine?
He's like, I'm working. Oh, me too, I guess.
All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to skip that question. What are buyers worried about that they really shouldn't be?
So many things. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound crazy. Rates.
Yeah.
That. I think everyone's so caught up on where rates are, which, yes.
And where they were.
And where they were. But you know what? Things change all the time. I think you can't make decisions based on rates. Yes, shop around, obviously. If somebody's giving you a 7% rate and the market rates are like 6.5%, well, yeah, that 7% rate is terrible. But it's also, you're looking at data from what, Google? What does Google know? Google just goes, this is an average. It doesn't take into consideration things like most rates that are advertised include a lot of discount points. Different loan programs have different rates. Different credit scores have different rates. What did my friend get?
And
not relevant to you.
Rates aren't even that bad right now.
They're not. That's what kills me. The average rate for the longest time, like 6% in a rate was fantastic.
Which is fine. I mean, we're not, everybody got a taste of that 3%, right?
And now
like
everybody wants it back.
3%. And now it's like, that's not coming back. That is not coming back.
6% was the like a good rate when I got my mortgage license 16 years ago now.
Right.
Rates were at a 40-year low, and that rate was like 4.75. And that was because we just came out of a economic crisis and a housing collapse.
Right.
What did you expect was going to happen?
Right.
People couldn't afford to live. So obviously rates came down. We're not there anymore.
No.
I always look at things as budget. I will say this till the day I die. It's always about your budget. Everything, every financial decision. What do you think you can afford for a payment? How much can you feasibly spend out of pocket for this purchase? You do the same thing when you buy a car. No one seems to care that they'll go get a car loan that's 17% so they can buy their Escalade and have a $2,000 payment.
Right.
Like, okay, but you're mad about a 6.5% mortgage rate over 30 years where the difference in $10,000 is $55 a month. It's marginal.
I think the other thing to go along with that is like people, I get so frustrated because yes, and it's a good indicator. This is a good indicator that they're really not a serious buyer is if they're not willing to get a pre-approval or know what they can afford before even going to look at houses.
It's they put the cart before the horse. I want this in a house. And then you ask them a question. How much money do you have to spend? And they say $4,000. So you're like, okay, cool. If you're a first time home buyer, that's fine. You can probably still buy a house, but it limits you in the programs that you can do. Can you get down payment assistance? Can you do USDA or VA? If you are outside of those parameters and then you only have $4,000 and your credit's not great and maybe you can't do down payment assistance, your budget on FHA is nothing. It's $100,000 because you don't have down payment.
All the time. You know, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Okay. So like I will show one house or a couple houses one time to a buyer, right? As a first introduction, whatever. And then I send them your way or I send them to another lender's way, whatever. And then they can't even get up to that amount or even like close to that amount. And it's like, why are you touring houses without knowing what you can afford?
Or what you feel like you can pay? Because you ask them that question and they have no money and then they say, okay, the maximum payment I can afford is $800. Okay, you're not in a position to buy a house then. You're in a position to rent a house. So it doesn't serve anybody to show you things. Because one, I mean, it's a waste of your time as an agent. But realistically, if they fall in love with the house and then can't put an offer in, that's a waste of their time.
Yeah.
And it just upsets them because they found something beautiful that now they can't have.
What about that lady?
Who doesn't have a job and has a 400 credit score and can only afford $500
to agents, right?
Over and over.
She ended up with me, right?
Yeah.
And she said that she was working with Jackie. Mm-hmm. So I called you, or I called the office and I got you.
And I was like, oh, this one, you're the 7th agent that's called about this lady.
And she literally cannot be pre-approved.
No.
She has really not great credit, but like
basically no income and can't afford anything.
Which like we're not judging. This isn't judging.
No, I'll find you a rental.
Right.
That's what we tell you.
But you are wasting so many people's time. Like we are people too. Like we are human beings. This is what pisses me off because I don't respect people that don't respect my time. Like you respect my time, I'm going to respect your time. But you are going around going to all these different agents, right? And wasting their time and looking at friggin' houses that are for sale. Why? Why are you doing that?
Because I would never do that. I think that's the thing is common sense dictates to me that I would never do that. I wouldn't go see houses I can't afford. Like, yeah, do I want to go see the like $3 million house because it looks awesome? Yes. Can I afford it? No.
Get your fucking real estate license if you want to look at houses all day, okay?
I mean, I look at like Zillow all day.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like these people.
They just want to be a voyeur, I guess. Like, I don't get it.
So, like, I told her, you know, like, you need to work on your stuff. Like, I said flat out to her, I was like, I am not showing you any more houses until you can provide proof of funds for me. Is that not fair?
During COVID, the best rule that ever happened, and it should have been a rule from the beginning, was if you want to go see a house, you need proof of funds or an active pre-approval, or we're not showing it to you. Why people stop doing that, I will never know. Because even for me, when I sold my house, thankfully we were in a position where we had all the offers within like 4 days and we could stack all the showings in one day and do highest and best. Right. But for me to have to rearrange my life to get out of my house to make sure it was cleaned, my dog wasn't there, I wasn't there, that you could properly show it. And then the people that want to dawdle for 4 hours, and it's like, I'd like to go home and eat dinner, but by all means, you sit in my house for 5 hours. Yeah. And then to know that, oh no, you actually don't have the money to buy it and you can't be pre-approved for it, so you displaced my life as a seller, it's just rude.
Well, people don't, and there's like so many different types of people in the world. And a lot of, like, I see things daily and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why? Just why? I can never understand. And like, especially being in this industry, we talk to all of every single type of person you could talk to, right? And like, we'll get even like just sellers, right, will call and immediately they have an attitude.
Yes.
And it's like, go find fucking somebody else. I don't know why you're calling my phone and giving me attitude, but you called the wrong phone. You called the wrong number.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people threaten me for no reason. The worst experience in my career, this would probably, should I save this for that question? Like, what shocking things?
No, you can go for it.
So the worst conversation I've ever had was I talked to somebody who was self-employed. So when you're self-employed, let me rephrase this. So in mortgage approvals, we always want to document your ability to repay a debt. So usually that's your pay stubs, your W-2s, what your income is in relation to the payment that you're looking for on the house and your other debts. We go by your taxable earnings. When you're self-employed, your taxes show you what your taxable earnings are, because you'll have your gross receipt of income, whatever it is, but then there are the expenses of you doing your job. So we always have to see your taxes, what you report to the IRS, because then that's your earnings. Seems simple. I asked a man to provide me his tax returns because he's self-employed. He said it was the worst question he's ever been asked. How dare me question where his income is and how much he makes, because him telling me should have been enough. I'm like, okay, well, sir, that's not how the federal government looks at mortgages, but I don't think you're lying to me, but I also need to have the documentation to support it to accurately give you a pre-approval, because my name is on the line. If I give a pre-approval and we say that, hey, this guy is approvable, and then you give me taxes and you don't have that income to qualify, it looks bad for everybody. He told me I basically should be thrown in front of a moving train.
Oh my goodness.
And then every curse word under the sun. I was like, oh, okay, sure. Have a great day, sir. And then repeatedly called my office to tell all of my employees to delete his information, and how dare I question him. Just obscene. We had to have call the police on him because he kept calling and threatening me. Strange. Because I asked for his tax returns.
This is and I run into this all the time, is men like that can't handle strong females.
Oh, 100%.
And we see this daily now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's I don't know what to tell you. but like you just called the wrong woman. Like I'm
Like,
not
go
going to
find
bow
somebody
down
else.
to you.
I'm so sorry I offended you by asking for something that's required for a loan. So
It's
sorry.
very, like narcissistic. Like we deal with a lot of narcissists in this, but
you know,
let's
God love
see.
them.
What's something that can completely kill a deal financially?
Lying. Dishonesty.
Buy a car.
Oh God, buying a car. So no, I will say this. Buying a car
Not
without telling your
necessarily.
lender first.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure your mom asked me when we
Or
did hers.
checking with,
Yeah, it was like, can I go buy a car? And I was like, you can do whatever you want. Just give me the paperwork.
Well, that's my mom.
Right. Like some
My
people.
mom like has great everything.
Yeah, when you have really great credit and like a ton of assets and low debt to income ratios, buying a car is not going to ruin your deal.
Right.
What will is if you then don't give that paperwork to the lender, because we'll find out and then be like, what'd you do? Mm-hmm. So if you ask first and I say, yeah, if you really can't avoid it, just give me all of your loan paperwork after you sign it, then it's not an issue. Mm-hmm. The big one, cash deposits in a bank account. Especially here, we have a lot of people that like save cash in their house, which is fine.
A lot of people pay cash here, though. Like it's like a big. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's like a.
We
big,
just have like a lot of like distrust for banking, and it's
Right.
kind of a like it was always done this way. We keep cash in our gun safe, yeah. Which it's fine. It's just we just have to structure things. It's okay. Well, if you have 10 grand in cash, well, you may have to deposit that and then wait a few months to buy a house.
Right.
But that's a big one because I always ask, like, how much money do you have to work with? Okay, was any of that money that went into your bank from large cash deposits? If it is, then we have to back it out. We can't use that money. And it's not that we think you're doing something illegal. I very much think you just are the kind of person that will tap and spend and spend. Mm-hmm. But if you take it out of your bank account and put it somewhere else, it's safe. That's fine. I don't think you're dealing drugs or have a prostitution ring or anything. It's just the rules that we have to follow. So that always becomes an issue is when someone says that they have the money and then we verify their bank accounts and they don't.
So track your money, people.
It's just let your payroll accumulate in your bank account and spend your cash for your everyday living expenses.
Keep your cash out of your bank.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a moment where you were like, this deal is done and it somehow worked?
Yes. Several. Almost every day. Every month there's one.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through them before. I can't specifically like name one, but you were like, I think that Kerri talks, like, when you're on the phone with her and, like, we're trying to work something out, she, like, talks to herself in a sense. How do I explain it?
Because I have to talk through the options, and because there's nobody who understands what I'm thinking and how my brain works, I have to
She's
say it
out loud. That's what.
Yes, like I'm trying to bounce ideas off of you, but you don't know what I'm talking about, and you don't need to say anything. You just need to be present for it, and I've worked myself through it.
Yeah. But she's like, oh, but maybe I could do this, and then she's like, let me see if I could do this, and then she's like, if I do this, I could blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
yeah.
Can you do it?
Yeah. I can think of like 2 recent ones where I was like, wow, that got creative. One, the house was just a nightmare. Goddamn nightmare. It needed a roof. There was mold in the bathroom that needed to be handled, and it basically needed a bathroom remodel, but there was only one bathroom in the house, so I couldn't just like blatantly ignore it. Mm-hmm. We ended up, we got the appraisal, it appraised slightly higher, so then we increased the price to cover the cost of the roof and the bathroom remodel. It took a lot of convincing to the seller to do it, but then the buyer ended up paying for the bathroom before closing because it was a safety issue, because it was mold. So at any like safety issue like that has to be done prior to closing. So they paid for it, got reimbursed in the price with a seller's assist to cover what they spent on it. So then they needed less for their closing costs. And then the roof got done after closing from the proceeds from the sale on the seller end, paid directly to a roofer.
Oh my God.
It all had to be done in 3 weeks.
And I'm sure you got it done.
Oh, I got it done. I figured it out. And it was like, give me a minute. But then everybody always wanted an answer like in 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, guys, this is not normal. I'll get you one. But like, give me, 3 hours to talk to 7 people. But it got done. So
What's different about buyers in this area versus others, and what should second home buyers know about financing? So obviously, like, we're in a second home market. So for the most part, we still have primary home buyers.
it depends on where you're looking. And I think those two questions go hand in hand, because what's different about our buyers in our market is we're a resort area. So we have, I would say, you probably see more vacations and investments, where I like to think I probably have I thought it was an even split for the longest time.
Well, you
but
get everybody.
I get everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably more like 60-40, 70-30, something around there. That's primaries versus vacation and investment. Just depends, because I kind of do the entire region.
Well, that's the thing, is you know a lot of people that live here.
Yes.
So like you know a lot of agents, like agents are
Yeah.
using you for their personal primary purchases. So that's why your percentage would be a little bit
Mine's
higher.
higher, and it should be, honestly, just given
The
that
history
the
of you guys
history.
in the business.
Yeah, so it's a lot of primaries, but a lot of vacations. So I think it changes our market. You can't just say the homes aren't always the same.
Yeah.
So like all the homes in the hideout, for instance, it's not like there's a general value in the hideout, because every house is so different.
Right.
And I think that's where people that aren't from here don't understand here. Even if you're talking like in the Philly market or like Lehigh Valley, you
Yeah.
have all of the same houses over and over.
Right.
So everything's going to be about the same price point, about the same taxes. Everything's the same. Where everything here is so different.
it's so
And
different.
even I would argue within the developments in the counties, you have like remarkably different values and appreciation levels. So that's tricky to navigate. It's why I think it's important to stick with local people in this area more than any other, because things are so different. For the primary buyers, I think they don't realize that there's so many more options that are available to them.
Right. And we run into that all the time, especially like nobody knows what a USDA loan
No.
is. And that was my phone. When you can use one, and like how beneficial they are. And
Oh my God, it's great.
that's the biggest one that I see, that people are like, oh,
Yeah, you don't need a down
like
payment.
I could put 0%.
You could do zero down. You could come to the table with zero money at closing.
Right.
Does that mean that you can buy a house with no money at all? No.
No.
No. And that's, even VA loans are the other one that you don't need down payments and you can cover closing costs and things. But I always tell people, yes, potentially you can have no money, need it for your purchase, but you still have inspections you're going to want to pay
Closing
for.
costs, yeah.
Closing costs, even if you get them rolled in with the seller's assist into the price,
You still
you
need a few
still need
grand.
a deposit. You
Right.
have to give a good faith deposit, because no one's going to take their home off the market because you
Right.
said you can buy it. You could
Right.
back out. So there's always some degree of money involved. Could you get some of that back? Probably.
I
But
think if you're also like going into buying a house, in
You
the
should have
first
money.
place, yeah, like you should have some sort of, even if it's not a big savings, but like $5,000 to $10,000 backbone in you that
I
you
think
know.
it's good to have reserves.
Yeah.
So one of the strengths in a mortgage approval is having reserves, which is money left over after the fact, after closing, in
Right.
case something happens. I think that's just important in life, because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Do
The
you
hot
need
water
it?
heater
No,
could go.
but
like the hot water heater could pass inspections, and then
And
the
then
day
go.
after closing it could
Yeah.
be shot. So like it's all part of being a fun homeowner. Can you tell me what's the difference like between financing a primary home and financing a secondary home?
rates and down
Vacation.
payment.
Yeah.
That's the big one. The most shocking one that people don't realize, because for the longest time, up until 2022, April of 2022, the rate was the same. If you're buying an investment property, the rate was always higher, but a secondary residence was the same rate as a primary. It's not. Hasn't been for 4 years now. The rates are higher on second homes. So the rates that you see advertised online, one, just don't trust them. They're crap. It's all marketing gimmicks. But the rate for your secondary residence will be probably a quarter to a full percentage point higher than that rate. It's hard to say because it's also your credit score that factors into things, but they have what we call loan level pricing adjustments that change the price for the cost of the rate and therefore the rate.
Well, it's a higher risk purchase.
It's a higher
right?
risk because let's say you have an issue, you lose your job, and you have your vacation home and you have your primary residence. Which one are you going to stop paying on first? Your vacation home. You're going to keep the house that you live in and make sure you pay that one. You won't pay the vacation home because you don't need it.
Right, exactly.
And that's why it's more risky
higher.
And everything's higher.
You need a higher
but
percent
that's
down.
You need a higher percent down. It's 10% is the minimum. Typically 20 and 25% down is when the rate tends to get a little bit better. But it really just depends on affordability. As rates come down, and if the rate's a little bit higher to do less down, it still works for you payment wise. Do less down. Do whatever you want to do. Save your money.
Just out of curiosity, this is like me just being curious. What were the rates during COVID on and I don't remember.
During COVID, so that's like, let's say.
On a vacation.
Stupid cheap.
They
Stupid
were
cheap.
still at like 3.5, right?
No, during COVID. So 2020, they were probably in the threes, low threes.
Crazy.
In 2021, twos.
Oh my god.
I had like 275 on some vacation homes, like 3.25. Yeah,
And it's crazy because
because the rate was the same. The only difference was if you did 10% down, there was a 0.5 point pricing adjustment, which just meant that if you were doing 10% down on your vacation home and you wanted the primary residence rate, you'd have to pay 0.5% in discount.
Yeah.
So it was 1/8% higher rate. It was so negligible, it didn't even matter. And then when the rate's 275, do less down. You're borrowing free money. The number of purchases I did during COVID for second homes with minimum down, ridiculous. Because why would you put more down?
Ridiculous.
You're borrowing basically free money.
Yeah.
I wish I would have bought more homes during COVID.
I know.
I was too busy dealing with everybody else.
We were so busy though. It was so crazy.
It was 18-hour days every day.
Yeah, it was nuts.
I probably kept Black and Press in business. I would get 4 cold brews a day, and their cold brew is like crack.
Yeah.
I was so overly caffeinated all the time.
But when you think about it, I remember calling you a lot during COVID, and I'm sure you got this from a lot of other agents. It was like, I need a pre-approval right now.
It was always right now.
It was always right now because there were 5 to 15 offers on one house, and they were doing highest and best the next day. I was like, I need a pre-approval today, this hour, right now. And you are amazing at that. And that's why I continue to use you too, because I do this to you still to this day.
You do.
And
I try to accommodate as best that I can.
Great. You'll take your laptop out at a fucking bar. You'll be sitting at a bar
every Friday night.
Hold on, I had to write a pre-approval.
Friday night during COVID, I would be at the wine lounge next to my office, and I'd be thank God it wasn't always super busy, and I would order my bottle of wine because it's cheaper that way. And I would sit there and I'd be talking to my friend, and I'd be like, oh, hold on, got to do a work call. And I would just sit there on my phone, doing my pre-approval. And full disclosure, guys, I'm at the wine lounge right now. I've had a glass of wine. It doesn't alter my ability to understand what your needs are and give you a pre-approval. But full disclosure, it's 8:30 at night on a Friday. Of course, I've had a drink. Here we go. And I would send it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it now, too.
You definitely do it now. And
I have a little bit more boundaries now, thankfully.
Yeah.
The nature of the business is a little bit different now.
It changed now. But I think if we got another COVID, you would be like, I'm in it and I'm doing this again.
Because you kind of
your name though, too.
Yeah, you have to take it as it comes. And I think, for me, I think what's different is I really like to counsel people on what they're doing and understand their financial situation and make sure they're getting the deal that works for them and really explain everything about the closing costs, about rates, how we get to where we are, how the payment breaks down, everything, so that they feel confident about their decision in that purchase right there.
Right.
So that every subsequent pre-approval and cost worksheet, it's just I fire it off and I'm done. But that initial conversation, it may take an hour or two, but it gets all the questions answered. And then I send a pre-approval. And then any other time after that, it's okay, well, I don't need to have this discussion with you. You understand.
Right. Everything
Which is
up
helpful.
front and done.
It was always I have that long conversation. I send the agent the pre-approval letter, and then I get them all of the stuff that we talked about over the phone at some point. Usually it's like 10 o'clock at night during COVID.
Yeah.
And then it was just always easier. And the emails, just got really short and to the point after like the 10th house. Here's the new one.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need a different letter.
I know. Well, yeah, that's how it was. I mean, just so crazy. I mean, part of me like loved that market because like you're just like,
It was exciting.
You were getting like so much business. You were always moving. You were always going. But everybody really came out of that market was like, oh, thank God that's
We needed
over.
a breather.
Yeah.
I think when it was so busy, it was easier to stay on top of what you had to do because there was no room for error.
Right.
And now it's not as busy. I mean, it's still busy relative to
Normal busy.
Yeah, it's normal. But I think you've seen, I know I've seen a lot of people getting lazy. And they're not getting
God, we talk about
pre-approvals
this all the time. It's
and
like
they're just
stupid.
not doing their job the correct way. So I kind of would rather go back to the COVID days when everyone seemed to care a little bit more.
Yep. Control issues during a deal, me or you.
100% me.
Yeah.
I'm just a control freak in
But
general,
I
so
think
yeah.
we like both do, and like it doesn't even matter. Like it's not like
It's not with
with each other.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. When we have a deal together, we're fine because I know you're going to handle yours. I'm going to handle mine.
Right,
We'll
and it
collaborate,
just
and we
goes.
know it's really waiting for everybody else to get their shit together.
Right.
That makes us both a little crazy.
Right. Like, did she call you? Did she call you? Did she call you? Like, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Did
oh my
you
God,
call?
like,
Did you
should
call the other
or
client?
should I call?
Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Why isn't title done? Like, what are
Right.
we waiting for?
Right.
Did you call your home insurance
We're more
agent?
just like mad at other people, and we're like agreeing with each other. So
Yeah. In general, though, oof,
yeah.
I don't know.
So be honest. Do real estate agents make your job harder? And be specific. Like
Let me call out each individual
No,
person.
but, like-
Some of them do, yes, 100%.
yeah.
And
Just lack of communication, probably.
lack of communication, a lack of understanding. Probably, I would have to argue a lot of it has to do with a lack of training.
Like they don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing. Maybe their broker didn't give them enough advice, or they don't care. It's hard to say because I think sometimes they think it's the lender's responsibility to figure things out. And it's
Right.
like, I'm not going to ask them any questions. I'm going to say, what school district do you want to live in? What kind of
Right.
house do you want a ranch? Do you want a colonial? Whatever it is. And then I'm going to push them to a lender to tell me if they're good or not. I don't think that's enough.
Right.
And I think it's important to get an understanding of, what kind of houses your clients want, but at the same time, what's their budget? What's important to them? What payments can they afford? Do they
Right.
want to be in communities? Do they have any money?
Right.
And have them understand their finances, because that's important. If you have one question when you get a lead for a buyer and they want to see houses, you should ask, well, do you have money for down payment? What payment is your maximum? Because if they say, I have 20 grand, I want to see this house that's 300,000 in the hideout, but I don't want a payment more than $1,000, that's a waste of your time.
Not happening.
That's not happening. And you shouldn't have to send them to me to tell you that after you've already showed them the house. That's the kind of thing that makes me a little crazy. And I'll do it. It's my job to go over the finances at the end of the day, and that's fine, and that's what I'm here for. But then when I talk to that client, I give them a pre-approval, and I say, hey, you're USDA, you need a minimum of this much of a seller's assist because you don't have the money.
Right.
And then I give the pre-approval to the agent and I say, this is the terms of their approval because they have no money. Their maximum payment is this. They can't do anything else. Right. And then you blatantly ignore all of that. You're putting your client in a bad position. Right. And then want me to figure it out? Like, ask them, do you have any money? Right. Because if I give an approval that says that they need a full seller's assist, but they probably don't.
Right.
Maybe ask questions or listen to what I tell you so you can find them something that's actually going to work for them. Right. Because maybe they don't have a ton of money. You don't want to spend every nickel someone has to put them in a house, especially a house that may need some work.
Right.
It's that where it's, it's common sense to ask these questions and they don't.
Nope.
Or putting contracts together. And then not giving me a contract.
But it's not even written, like, these agents, like, I swear they're thrown to the wolves when they first start, and they're like, yeah, like, their broker or whoever's training them is like, yeah, just write the contract, and, like, everything's in the wrong spot, and then, like, not only for you, but like, you would never get a contract like this that I was on a deal on because it would already been fixed, like, before it got to you. 100%. But, like, I hate when a buyer's agent gives me a contract and I'm like, this isn't an offer. Like, I am not presenting this to my seller because this is written completely incorrectly.
It's not, like, if you read the contract, it's kind of straightforward. I hate to say that, but it kind of...
Nobody reads it. That's the problem.
But it's straightforward. I've read enough of them to understand, like, what boxes you should check and which ones you shouldn't.
Did I?
No.
I just ripped it up and I put it down.
What really grinds my gears is explaining a seller's assist and how it's not free money. It's not free money. It's not a check that you get at closing, or when the default...
The seller's paying it.
When I say, hey, their offer is $200,000 seller's assist out of it, and they go, oh, here's it all on top. That's not what I gave you. They may not be approved for that. Right. And then it's not understanding things. And I'll explain it till I'm blue in the face so that people understand, but it drives me crazy.
It's Fill really out the contract just correctly. Like lack of training, realistically. And, like, I'm sure you probably don't see it as much, like, on the lender side. Like, I'm sure there's lenders that have lack of training too.
Oh, 100%. There is no training for this business.
Give out pre-approvals and then, like, they can't actually approve that.
They don't look at the credit report.
Right.
They don't verify if they're W-2'd or 1099.
Yeah.
They don't look at pay stubs to make sure they're actively working those hours.
If I could say anything, like, to a consumer, like, you really have to be careful who you work with as a lender, as a consumer hiring a lender. You really have to be careful who you work with because, while it's great and dandy to get that pre-approval letter and people are like, well, I'm pre-approved, like, it's great, it's awesome, but to get to almost the closing table and not be able to close on that house, wouldn't you want to know beforehand?
Yes.
Before you went through all the heartache and shelled money out for inspections and appraisals
you do your
and everything else
over an app and, like, spits it out, but no one verified any of that information. Right. Because as a consumer, I don't expect you to understand what's needed to qualify for a loan. You know what your situation is doesn't mean that that's what we would use to approve you. Like, a big one is people that have a lot of overtime. Okay, but if you've been on your job for 6 months, your overtime doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You have it, great, you're making all this money. I can't use any of that extra income. So you wouldn't qualify. So if you say that your income is, $7,000 a month, in an app, and 2,000 of that is overtime, well, that doesn't mean we can use it.
Right.
So there's, like, that component of drilling down.
Like, while they're either doing the mortgage application, we're 2 weeks under contract, you already did your inspections and put $700 into that. Like, these are things, like, that are so freaking important. And, like, I stress them on my podcast all the time, and I stress them in my videos that I put on Facebook and my social media, because, like, it's crazy how much one person can change a deal, whether it's a title company, whether it's a lender, whether it's your real estate agent. Like, these things are so, so important. Like, there are agents in this industry, in this area, and there's several that do not answer their phone.
Yes.
Ever.
Drives me crazy.
And when I say
drives me crazy.
These people, they're listing 5, 6, 7 houses a month, and they are not answering other agents' calls. Is that somebody that you want representing you that
No.
won't answer questions on your home that you have listed
No.
on the market, will give no consumer information about the house? You really, like, when I say stressing to the consumer, like, this agent is going to kill this freaking house sale for you. You're going to get less money for your house than you would have gotten with a very communicative agent. You're going to get a shitty buyer because you're not going to care.
You're going to be
Like,
stressed out the whole time because you're not getting any communication. You don't know what's going on.
so, like, when I say, like, to consumers or, like, stress this on social media and everything like that, that you need to ask the right questions. You can bombard me with questions at a listing appointment, whatever. Like, I will answer all of your questions the best way that I possibly can and be real with you and be straight with you. And sometimes you're not going to like the answer, but, like, these agents are lying to the consumers. They are lying. There are lenders that are lying. There are title companies that are lying. It's like fucking sick.
I think a lot of the lenders just have a straight lack of knowledge because there is no training for this. Like passing the licensing, well, first off, not everyone's even licensed, so there's that. But passing the licensing test is laws. Okay, like I know what fraud is and not to do it. Cool.
Right.
I know when they enacted certain programs. Great. That doesn't tell me how to approve somebody in that program.
Right.
So my approach was always different. And I think it's just, I've always been a researcher and I need to know the answers to problems and I need to read everything so I fully understand things. It's just the way I've always been. But in my job, thankfully for me, my dad oversaw like the entire start to finish process of a loan.
He's like cutthroat and he would not let any of his lenders mess up anything.
Oh God, no, he's kind of scary sometimes. God love him. But in a good way. But he oversaw like all of ops, like processing, underwriting, originating, secondary and sales and post-closing.
He doesn't just hire anybody either.
No, he would rather hire people that have zero experience and train them from the ground up. Yeah. And with all of our loan officers, they started as an assistant and they learned processing because that's when all the problems happen. You uncover all of the secrets that people don't want to tell you with their bank statements, with their pay stubs, their income. That's what we start with. And then it's, okay, well now here's how you originate a loan and take an application, really drill down and get the right questions answered and asked so you don't have problems. And then I took it a step further and did underwriting certifications because I just want to know how to qualify in everything. And I will call Fannie Mae every day. I was calling FHA so much that they went, oh, you again. And I'd be like, thank you. Can I talk to the hawk now? Thanks. Because I needed to know the truth. I didn't want underwriters' opinions. I wanted the facts of what we can do. And now, granted, things are specific to a situation sometimes, but that was always the approach I took because I didn't want to tell somebody we can approve them, have them go under contract, and then they're let down because they can't be approved.
Right.
And that's because I care.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. It's not just, people aren't just a number to me.
Right.
I want them to be satisfied. I'm going to probably see them I'm
going
to see them at IGA.
The end of the transaction.
I don't want them throwing apples across the aisles at me because I ruined their life and their mortgage process.
And there's people like that are in, and you'll be able to tell, like if you're a consumer or a client, a consumer for them, it would, because it wouldn't be my client that would go through this, but like if you were a consumer, you can tell your agent is crap probably the second after you sign the contract with them.
Yeah.
Or like a few days after. Like you're going to know because they already have that contract with you and they're like,
done.
I got the
I'm
contract,
getting paid.
got the listing.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So like you're going to be able to tell and like, and it really sucks. And you know, the most vulnerable people in this business or the ones that don't ask questions and they're like, yeah, like I'll just sign, you know? And like, we love those clients. We're like, okay, you know, it's like.
I mean, for me, on my end, it's like, read the documents I send you. But at the same time, it's like most of them say the same thing over and over again, but just trust that we've already had this conversation 10 times that you can sign what I give you. There's nothing hidden.
I more mean like, I'm at a listing appointment, right? Mm-hmm. And, I go over everything, and typically, like, there are people that will challenge me on things, and I'm like, educating them and whatever. But there are people that don't challenge anything. And I'm like, oh my God, what if somebody else walked through your door? Like, what if this was another agent and not me? And like, you didn't challenge anything I said. You didn't, and
you didn't read the paperwork. You just signed it.
Right. And when people tell me, and like, I know like there's a couple of my clients that like watch my podcast, but like, for example, like I'm about to list my friend Becca's house in a couple of weeks, and she was like, oh yeah, like send it to me for e-sign. And I said to her specifically, I said, hey, please read the contract before you sign it, because obviously I'm not in front of her to go over it with her. Mm-hmm. I'm like, read the contract. If there's anything you want to discuss, give me a call. But I really want you to read it. I don't want it to just bounce back to my email signed, because it's like 15 documents and like, I don't want to have to come back later and explain something to you that you signed already. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, I don't want you to come back questioning me on like why something is happening when you signed for it. So like,
yeah, I mean, even when you listed my house, being in the other side of the industry, I understand a good deal of what paperwork is being signed, but I'd never sold a house before. So I made you explain some things to me before I would sign things. And then I read it and I signed it.
Right. I mean, you didn't challenge me because I'm
also
I'm me, but
right. You're not going to do me dirty.
But I went over the whole contract with you.
Yes, as you should have.
Of wine, I think. I don't
probably, or at least a cup of coffee. It may have been the morning. I don't remember.
I don't know if you're gonna have an answer for this one. What is the funniest or most chaotic deal we've ever worked on
together?
Yeah,
our house sales and purchases.
Yeah. Oh my God, mine.
What, yours? Mine.
Woo! Yeah.
Kevin had us crying in Mike Walker's office and Mike crying. We're all crying in the attorney's office, and it's supposed to be a happy moment. We're dying.
Mine was awful.
Mine was so much smoother. My sale was so smooth.
Yeah.
Well, other than
no contingencies, so like
other than the getting all of the offers in and the lack of communication from other agents, which was lovely,
right?
But that was really easy. I would argue my purchase was relatively easy until the end,
right?
Which it was fine, but yours, wow, your purchase was mostly easy.
My purchase was fine.
It was just waiting for your sale. There was
like a time where we thought we were going to lose it because of my sale.
Yeah.
And then we had to like pay the builder like $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
In order to keep the sale. So like, it was just, that whole thing was such chaos. And like, I remember talking to you on the phone, and I was like, Kerri, like, I have never been this stressed out in my entire life. So stressed. And I had 11 deals going on at the same time. And we had a couple going on together too. And I was like, I can't. And I was going on a cruise. I was going on vacation. And I was like, I can't do this for much longer. Like, I was at the verge of like dropping all of the sales and being like, listen, like, if I'm just meant to stay in this house, like, I'll stay in this house, but I can't physically, like, I can't contain this much longer. Not
imagine how stressed you were, because I was stressed. Like, I want to fix this, but I don't know that I can fix it.
Nobody could do anything. And like, it was just like
not trusting your buyer.
Our buyer got a pre-approval letter that like should have never been issued.
No.
And like, I was getting promises from their lender that it was going to work. And then I was talking to you on the other side. You were like, I don't know how they're going to get it to work unless he has a co-signer. Like, and like, I trust you.
And they're saying it's a guarantee. And I'm like, nothing in this business is a guarantee, buddy, especially this kind of file.
And I was asking you things like, well, like, are we going to be able to close on this date? he's saying we are because but like the final CD's not out, and you're like, if they didn't issue the final CD, then like they can't close for another 3 days. Like,
right. It's just dates. There's no way around it.
Like, it was just madness. And I couldn't believe we got up to, because we were supposed to close in like May or June.
We were supposed to June 15th.
Yeah.
Is when we were supposed to
got
close.
All the way to, because we went on vacation, I think on
July.
the 18th in July.
Yeah.
And we
just
got
me and your mom
all the way to that date.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not canceling my family vacation.
No.
For this closing. I'm like, if it doesn't happen, like doesn't happen. So that was just the worst transaction I have ever gone through.
I would say that's probably
like top 5.
Top 5. Because you know what? It's always your own deal. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's like your own crap that is the biggest problem. Like when I bought my last house, I almost forgot to go to the closing because I was so busy.
Don't worry, I was there.
Yeah, it was fine.
She'll sign a power of attorney.
You said it. It was terrible. Like, and I almost forgot to get the check because I was like, oh shit, I'll just like go get it. And I like, oh my god, the bank closed in 10 minutes, and I like had to go get my check. Thankfully, the seller was late for when I bought my first house, so I had plenty of time. And I didn't need them to go over any of the paperwork when it's the paperwork I generated, so we could just sign my name and move on.
All right, rapid fire. 1 or 2 word answers. You ready?
Yes.
Biggest mistake buyers make?
Not having a budget.
Most overrated fear?
Credit inquiries. They mean nothing, guys. They mean nothing. It's under 10% of your credit score. It's not going to kill you, I promise. Just let us run your credit.
One thing buyers should do immediately?
Get pre-approved.
One thing they should not do?
Not get pre-approved. Not use us. Thank you.
If someone is thinking about buying, what's the first step they should take?
Call both of us. Duh.
Call us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Closing out on this wasn't in the MLS. I keep saying on, so I'm just like,
it wasn't in the MLS.
I stress the in.
Yeah.
So, but thanks for watching. This wasn't in the MLS. We will see you next time.